Big life update, we moved to Portugal. And today I will walk you through our immigration process while I'll be making a little cute sports bra for myself. If you're new here, my name is Lisa Bennett. I'm co-founder of studio Arkdefo, designer and educator. And my biggest passion and mission in life is helping women feeling great in their bodies with the clothes that fit just right. By the way, we have a new addition to the family. This is Maya, and she clearly will be helping me today. I learned to love my non-standard body when I stopped trying to fit the standards and started making clothes based on me. Instead of crying in the changing rooms and wondering what on earth is wrong with my body, I flipped the narrative. I am the only standard that matters to me. My relationship with my body is finally a happy one. And my goal is to help you find this self-love too. Clothes should be made to fit you, not the other way around. Right, so what fabric I'll be using today for this bra? This is 100% plain cotton jersey, so it has very minimal stretch, maybe 10-15%. I don't want any synthetics in my clothes, and especially not in my underwear. One more quick thing about the direction of my design process this coming season. I generally don't have a lot of clothes, and when we moved from the UK, I realized I don't have any summer clothes. Basically, what I'm wearing is my uniform for the last few months. The majority of our clothes was made out of wools, really heavy wools. My goal is to create a brand new summer wardrobe. Any immigration, even when it's a wanted one, is a super tiring process. I want to keep things really simple on this side. I need a lot of summer clothes, and I'll be making it very basic, very simple. I have no idea who am I in summer, what is my personality, what I love to wear in summer, what works and what doesn't. After 7-8 years in the UK, I actually don't remember what I used to wear in summer. It was such a long time ago that my preferences, my taste changed. I will be discovering what I like and don't like, but I start with the basics. Very simple, very straightforward. Once I get the basics, then I can get a bit more creative. But I love simple, minimal silhouettes anyway, so let's get to it. And if you've been following us for a while, you know that I don't work with ready sewing patterns because I just don't see the point. What I do myself and what we teach in our pattern drafting courses is how to work with your individual measurements and turn them into custom-made bodice blocks that you can later turn into patterns, and these patterns will always fit you because they are made based on you. And today I'm using my bodice blocks with a negative ease. Usually I would have blocks made specifically for a particular fabric to make sure that the stretch factor is correct, but right now I'm not bothered. I know these blocks, they work with this type of fabric. If I need to readjust something, I just do it during the fitting. I'm really taking it super easy. So why did we move to Portugal? I will disappoint many of you, but the climate is not the main reason. The climate is wonderful, but the main reason is that we started working with Portuguese manufacturers that produce fabrics for brands, and we started getting the dead stock. We've been running dead stock fabric shop for a few years now. We used to work with British manufacturers, but we were looking for jerseys specifically. We couldn't find it in the UK. We found amazing contacts in Portugal, and last year we started working with them. So what's the deal? They produce fabrics for brands, and they also manufacture garments for brands, and we collect the surplus, the dead stock. These fabrics you can't get anywhere else because they're specifically made for particular brands, and they're all in very limited quantities because that's what's left from the collection, right? And the quality is amazing. Our thing about our shop is that we only stock natural fibers, so when you go to the factory you'll find different blends and mixes and whatever, but we we are very particular. We choose only natural fibers. So when you come to our shop, you can buy with confidence because we don't store any synthetics. Quick note on the shop, at the moment it's on pause because we need to do a few legal things to be legally trading in Portugal, but it will be coming back very soon. So we kept traveling from Cornwall, where we stayed, to Portugal, and there were no direct flights. So it was quite tricky, complicated, and yes, a trip to Portugal is always really nice, but we were not coming here for holidays, we were coming to organize the collections. And the thing with that stock is that you can't just place an order because they don't have samples. You have to come and physically touch the fabric. So we had 2 trips last year, and we just realized we love the fabric. We want to continue relationship. Textile industry in Portugal is phenomenal. It's one of the few places in Europe that still has a real industry, but the shipping costs to the UK were absolutely ridiculous, and if we wanted to grow and expand, it was just not feasible. So we decided it would be a lot easier for us to move to Portugal and be closer to the fabrics. That's the real reason why we moved to Portugal. As you can see here, I'm just playing around with the pattern. There's no science behind it. When I'm using the block, my measurements are already in it. Now I'm just deciding, right, I want the shoulder smaller. I want it to be less of a top, more of a kind of bra. Just visually deciding what I think looks good. Once you have the basic block, all the rest is really easy because you just draw your pattern. And as you can see, I'm being super lazy. I'm just measuring on myself to see more or less where I want it to sit. And if I need any corrections, I can always do them after. Clothes making doesn't have to be overly complicated. So I think that's my front. If it's not, I'll adjust it on me. We applied as British citizens, which means this is non-EU passports. So we had to apply for a visa. This is not an immigration advice. This is just me sharing the story, how we did it. First, we heard of this program for startups that is kind of supported with Portuguese government, and IPME is the agency that's responsible for that. And we filled the forms, we applied for the startups. The idea is that you write a business plan, you apply through this government subsidized agency that checks your business plan and decides if you're good to go. And kind of, if they approve you, you have like a shortcut for the visa. We tried that. We applied about a year ago. We still haven't heard back. We were waiting and waiting and waiting, but the process just takes forever. And to be honest, looking back, I probably should have applied as a business straight away, because the startup thing involves doing reports to the incubators, whatever. It's like a lot of paperwork that we don't need. Plus, we're not a startup really. So I think we waited for like 5 months for that decision to come from IPME. It never did. And we just went, oh well, let's do it ourselves. We just applied for a business visa. You can find all of the information if you're interested on the Portuguese embassy website in your country. Plenty of forums and Reddit and whatever. We applied for D2 visa called Migrant Entrepreneur. We didn't have to have a business registered here yet. It's just kind of the intention of registering the business. We had to go to London to apply for it. In terms of documents, it was pretty straightforward. Obviously, in your passports, visa application, pictures, clean criminal record, proof of finances, travel insurance for the time of that initial visa, which is 4 months. You're granted 4 months, then you extend it on the spot, which is another nightmare. Proof of where you're going to live. We were super lucky. We had a friend and his circumstances were so that we would come in April and he would rent us his flat while he was moving out with his girlfriend. And that flat was kind of in a floating situation that we could stay there for up to 4 months. So we were super lucky that we could come and we could take time to find an apartment here. And the visa decision took 1 month. We applied on January 13th and we received our passports with visas on Valentine's Day. And once we received the visas, we had like 1.5 months to clear up the flat, give away stuff, sell some other stuff, you know, just the whole bit, organize a trip, and yeah, we were ready to go. How did we get here? The only option that worked for us was to send our stuff with a delivery company, and then ourselves, we would fly from London Heathrow. In terms of flights, it was the only option. We had to fly from London Heathrow to Lisbon because only Portuguese Air tap allows to bring your pets into the cabin. So Zeus has a great experience of traveling. He's been driving with us all over UK. He's stayed in many places, but it would be a very stressful journey, and there was just no way that we would let him be in the cargo. He had to come with us. That was priority. There are other options, but for us this was the quickest and the easiest one, and also the least stressful for Zeus. In terms of paperwork, if you want to travel with a pet from the UK to Europe, your pet needs to have a European passport, which we didn't have. But second option was the vet can write you special paper. There's a special form, they know about it. If you ever need it, just ask your vet. Then we also had to get in touch with the Lisbon airport, let them know that we're arriving, send them the paperwork in advance. They checked it, they said cool. And when we arrived, the vet just checked the microchip and we were good to go. And this is my pattern for the sports bra. See, that was very simple. From the basic block to a pattern, it's literally a matter of minutes. And if you wonder why the side seam doesn't match the side seam here, it's because this pattern block is basically for the tank top, but I know that for the bra it needs to be tighter. When I'm making tank tops, they're usually pretty tight, but it's okay if they're slightly loose over here. When it comes to the bra, I need support, so I'm reducing it. I'm bringing it a little bit closer to my body, and it's not about following rules or instructions, it's just about experience. I worked with the blocks before multiple times. I know how the fit works. I worked with this particular fabric and I know what to expect. I just quickly ran away and ironed the fabric. There's a big misconception that knit fabrics, jersey, don't need pre-washing or pre-ironing or ironing during the sewing process. It does need all of this. It's the same principle, it's fabric. This particular type of jersey, 100% cotton, it tends to roll a little bit. If you've never worked with stretchy fabrics, could be a little bit tricky, but not difficult. A little bit fiddly, so you just need to pin it a bit more. Now, next question is, where do we stay? We had two obvious choices, Lisbon or Porto. It had to be one of the two cities, and this is one of those rare moments when two cities in one country so close to each other. It's only 3 hours by train or car. Both are so beautiful, and we didn't have the preference. We were super open-minded. We were like, let's see. We had no idea. We did not know what to choose. Logically, it should have been Porto right away because it's closer to the factories. It's in the north, and basically the entire textile industry in Portugal is up north. But then we thought maybe Lisbon could be a better choice because it's the capital, you know, and it's kind of in the very middle of the country. So we could be in between the north and south, and we were landing in Lisbon anyway. And then we had this amazing opportunity with our friend renting his apartment to us for this kind of flexible time. We thought, let's just try Lisbon, you know, because we are here. And when we started our deadstock fabric shop in Scotland, at the moment we lived in Glasgow and we were collecting fabrics from Dundee. It's about 2 hours drive, and we thought, what's the big difference? We've done it before, so 2 hours there, collect the fabrics, 2 hours back, and Lisbon to Porto is 3 hours. And we thought, it's not a big deal, it's just 3 hours, just extra hour. Some things sound really good in theory, but in practice they don't really work out. We started with Lisbon and we started going to the flat viewings, and exploring the city through flat viewings is something that you don't do as a tourist, so that was really interesting. We'll go to some areas that probably normally we would never go to and see different apartments and just understand the city better, like from within. And we adore Lisbon, but after 2 weeks of constant viewings, there was this feeling that something just doesn't sit right. I don't even remember anymore how many viewings we had, definitely over a dozen. Out of those, we only really liked 2 flats, but really liked 1 flat. We kept looking, but kind of we had a very particular idea of what we wanted, and we were getting this feeling that we won't find it here. It's very important to understand that we did have the luxury of being picky because we did have a place to stay, super flexible, Our last two flats in the UK, they were such a huge compromise. We had to take them like for whatever reasons. And this time we knew what we wanted. If you want to get any flat in Lisbon, I think it's easy peasy. But when you are very particular in what you want from your future home, it's a bit trickier. And another thing that was slowly brewing in the background, the place where we stayed was in the outskirts of the city. So we had to travel to Lisbon for the viewings or for the sightseeing, whatever. One thing we didn't predict, we couldn't think about before, is how tiring the heat is. We really appreciate the warmer climate. We love it. We love it. We love it. But we were wearing like hats and 3 jumpers inside the flat most of the time. So this is brand new and we are getting extra tired with the heat. Even taking like a bus and an underground to a viewing, we feel knackered. And that's another reason why we were thinking, can we actually do this whole thing of driving to Porto for factories and then driving back? We started seriously doubting that we can do this because it's so hot. Can we do this journey back and forth? Let's go to Porto and let's do some viewings there. So we're driving to Porto and turns out it's not 3 hours, it's more like 4 hours, you know, with like toilet stops, with the station, whatever, take a break. And then the factories are not even in Porto, they're a bit further up north. It's gonna be more like a 4-hour journey. And we were like, we don't think Lisbon's gonna work at this point. We had 4 viewings scheduled in Porto in 2 or 3 days. The second flat that we saw was the flat. We saw it and we were like, it ticks all the boxes. This is exactly what we were looking for. And we were extremely lucky and we got it. And the final proof that this was the right choice was that the following week we had to go back to Porto to sign the contract. You can't do it online, it has to be in person. So we hired a car and we drove to Porto to sign the contract and then drove back. And that was an impossible journey. It's an entire day. So to think of doing that journey multiple times, to pick up the fabrics, to go to different factories, it's different journeys. We were like, right, no. And we're really happy with this choice and this decision feels right, at least for this moment in time. We will be in the north of Portugal. And now to my least favorite part, the boring part, the putting it together, the sewing and the ironing. What's next for us in Portugal? Navigating the bureaucracy. It feels like everyone is constantly complaining about Portuguese bureaucracy. Sometimes it makes me want to scream and it made me cry once already. Having said that, I lived in 4 countries and it sucks everywhere. In different ways, on different levels, for different reasons, but it's just something that you have to do. I would usually use an overlocker to work with jersey, but I just want to show you that you can absolutely use your usual domestic sewing machine for as long as you have the right settings. Very simple. You just want to use the needle designed specifically for jersey because it doesn't break through the threads but kind of separates them. And instead of the straight stitch that will break with a stretchy fabric, you want to use a zigzag stitch. I genuinely don't understand why jersey is considered a difficult fabric. When you work with 100% natural fabrics that don't have any added elastane in them, it's really, really easy to work with them. I love jersey and we successfully teach hundreds of beginners in our beginner-friendly course how to make very simple boxy tops using jersey fabrics. First, I stitched my very tiny shoulders. Now I'm gonna iron them and I'll be back. And now I measure the neckline, line flat, and cut a strip of fabric about 20% shorter. I will then spread that trim evenly along the entire neckline and it will help it stay close to the body. I've covered all the steps on how to treat the neckline and the armholes of a basic tank top in detail in this video. Please check it out. I was also using contrasting fabrics, so it's much easier to see what's going on. Exactly same principle here. The only difference is that I'm using a domestic machine instead of an overlocker. And the final part of this is to add elastic at the bottom. To be honest, it holds pretty It holds pretty well even without elastic, but elastic will definitely fix it in place and make sure that there is a support that I need. If you have a larger breast, you might want to consider double layering at least the front, or maybe both front and back, and definitely using thicker elastic, nothing like this, maybe 5 centimeters, about 2 inches. As I mentioned before, there is nothing complicated. It's pretty quick and simple. The only thing, keep in mind, this is not exactly beginner friendly because those trimming details are a bit fiddly. If you have some experience working with jersey, then you'll be fine. If you're a complete beginner, it could be a little bit tricky simply because you need a bit of extra practice in handling fabric. And the blocks I was using today to make this bra are from our advanced pattern drafting course, Tailored Tops. I'll drop all the links below this video. And once again, our courses are not about showing you how to make or how to use a single pattern. That's not what we do. We teach you how to turn your measurements into those blocks that you can later turn into any sewing pattern for any garment that you would like to make, and it will always fit you. Why? Because your measurements and your fit preference, tighter or looser, are in those basic blocks. All our courses are 100% online, and they consist of pre-recorded video tutorials, which means that you can access any course or any lesson at any time that suits you from anywhere in the world. Right, elastic in. That's it. That's my sports bra ready. If you enjoyed this content, if you want to see what I'll be making next for my brand new hot climate wardrobe, then remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel.